Okay, welcome everybody to day number 4 of our Google Apps class. This week we are finishing the introduction to Chrome, and today what we're going to do is do a summary and finish a couple things that we have not done. So we did settings, right? We went through settings. We did apps, we did extensions. We're going to focus on the tabs and the toolbar today. Morning, Dennis.
Good morning, Ed. How are you?
Good. Sorry for my delay.
No problem. We're good.
Over here, and they need some of our space. Okay, so we're gonna jump right in. The let's go to our. I'll share my screen, and we'll go to.
Good. All right. So you don't come out here. You got to walk on the side of the desk. Okay.
Okay, so everybody knows this is a Hangout on Air, right? Mm-hmm. So this is a tool that you should use with employment. Most companies don't do Hangouts on Air every day. So no matter what company that you do, you should try to figure out how to use Hangouts on Air with them. Your salespeople could be on a sales call, and they can call back, use the Hangout on Air, call back to somebody at the office. Instead of saying, I don't know, I'll find out and get back to you, they can say, let me try to get them on right now and have a two-way video. Okay, so how do we get to Chrome? Ed, do you know?
Everybody knows.
What icon?
The Chrome icon, the little circle one with the.
Where is it?
Right. Colored, three colored one at the bottom.
This?
That one, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So if I'm at the desktop, that's how I get to Chrome. That's how I launch Chrome. Now, how do I get to Chrome settings?
You go to your corner box up at the top.
This?
No, it's over here. Yeah, right there in the corner.
Right there, right. Okay. So that's how we get to settings, the 3 parallel bars. And then it says settings. Okay, so today we're going to talk about tabs. We're going to do our summary. We're going to talk about, start at the very top, we're going to talk about tabs. Then we're going to talk about the Omnibar. We'll maybe say just a couple words about extensions. And then we're going to focus on the bookmarks bar, because the bookmarks bar is extremely important to be efficient. Okay, so, Jesus, what is a tab? If I say open a tab, what does that mean to you?
Page?
Huh? I didn't hear you. What? You were probably right, because I thought I heard you. Yeah, okay. So a tab are these things at the top of the screen that if you think about file folders, right, they're designed to look like tabs on file folders. How many can you have? Yeah. Okay, is it good to have them all open? No. Okay, why not? Okay, so the phrase would be it takes up resources on your computer. It takes up memory, could take up storage. So with these computers, you really shouldn't have more than 4 tabs open at a time. Now, one of the habits that I see people get into is they're in a tab. Let's say they're in a tab, and then they want to go somewhere else. Okay, so now what tab am I on? What does it look like?
So your drive time.
Yeah, so I'm on my drive. And how do I know?
So it just says drive.
Because it says drive, right. Okay. So now what a lot of people do is if I want to get to my calendar, what do a lot of people do right now?
They go to the 9 square thing.
They go to the 9 square grid. But you know what? I already have 1, 2 instances of the calendar already open. So that's a mistake I have right now. I should only have one calendar open, not two. So I should close this tab. Now I'm in Drive. What if I want to go to calendar? What do I do?
Click the calendar tab.
Correct. I just click on the calendar tab. I don't open a new tab. Once the tab is open in the background, it's open. It's designed to just go back and forth between them as I need. Now, can I change the order of my tabs?
Yes.
Okay. How do I do that?
Drag it.
Okay. So I select it and then I drag it. Now, what if I want to save more space? Is there anything I can do with my tabs?
You can pin them.
Okay, right. So I can pin a tab. And what does that mean?
That means you right-click on the
Okay, so I right-click.
pin tab,
I
and
pin it.
just put the icon on.
Okay. Does everybody understand that?
Right click and then pin tab.
And you pin tab, and then it shows up, moves it all the way to the left, and it shows up over there just as the icon.
How many pin tabs can you have?
As many as you want.
As many as you want.
On that one. You good with that, Ralph?
Yeah.
Okay. So the pin tab. Yeah.
So I'm going to pin one.
Now, how do we unpin it? Laretha says. Right, so what would you think? Just take a wild guess.
The same thing.
I went to opposite.
Right, do the opposite.
Right click.
Okay?
Go pin tab.
Okay, the opposite is what?
Close tab.
No.
Unpin.
Unpin tab.
Oh, I see.
Okay, closing tab means you're literally closing the tab. It's going to go away. And when should you have it? When should you close a tab?
When you're done with it.
When you're done with it, or if you start getting too many tabs, you might not be done, but you just don't need it now.
That's all we're on.
So if your boss walks up behind you and he sees 15 tabs open, they're not going to be thinking this guy's smart. They're going to be thinking the opposite. This guy's not smart. Right. So, rule of power number 2, I think it is, or 2B, is power perceived is power achieved. So if you look like you don't know what you're doing, people are going to think you don't know what you're doing, even if you do. So it's not a good place to start from. You want to start from people thinking you know what you're doing. Now, next to the tab, what is this little thing here?
It's something you click to open a new tab.
Yeah, so that's for a new tab.
That's
And
right.
how do I close a tab?
X.
Right.
Hit the X.
Click on the X. Okay, or how else?
Well, you can right-click and then go to
Right click, close tab. So what are the different ways to reload a tab?
Or you can hit the refresh on an open tab. Hit refresh.
So what do you mean? Where's the refresh button? What do you mean refresh?
Okay, I've got
What was
a
the first
refresh
one?
right there, just to the left of the home icon, underneath my drive, which is my drive, above bookmark. Okay. A little higher, a little higher, a little higher, a little higher, a little higher to the
Oh,
left,
circle.
to the left. There you go.
Circle arrow.
Okay, so you're talking about that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's one way to do it.
Reload this page.
This little icon right there, that's a circle with an arrow on it. Okay, that's one way to refresh. What's another way?
F5.
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 Okay. That was the Jesuit. I knew that was not going to be a quick call. Okay, so I could hit F5. What else can I do?
You can close the tab and reopen it.
Well, I could do that, or I could right-click and reload. Okay, and that'll do the same thing. So the key thing to know in Google is there's always more than one way to do things. And what we want to do is do it in the most efficient way. So tabs, we can change the order of tabs, we can pin tabs, we can reopen a closed tab. So if you close a tab and oops, I didn't want to do that, you can reopen it. So the key thing there would be play around with the things and right click and see what happens on stuff, left click, see what pops up. Now, bookmarks bar. Where is the bookmarks bar?
Right underneath the Omnibox.
Correct. What is the Omnibox?
Omnibox is where you put your information in which you might want to
Okay. Now, if we look at the Omnibox, on the right, it's got some different icons, right?
Dictionary, your
That's okay. So you're to the right of the Omnibox. I'm talking about on the right side of the Omnibox. Okay, so when I'm on my drive, I have a little happy face with the X on it, and I have a star. I go to my calendar, I've got a key, star, and something else.
What's a service handler? It says this page wants to install a service handler if I put my cursor over the two boxes that are on top of each other. Yeah, I do it. Like one underneath here it says it wants to install a service handler.
I don't know. So that's beyond this this class. Okay, now, so if you, the main one we want to focus on is the star. What does the star do? Okay, so it adds it to your bookmarks. Where?
In the bookmarks folder.
Okay, so it depends where it's going to be. And so let me open something. Okay, so I'm opening this file. Okay, remember this. Now, if I want to bookmark this, how can I bookmark it?
Click the star.
Okay, so one way to do it is to click the star, and then a box pops up, and it tells me where it's planning to add it to. So it says bookmarks bar, but I can change where it goes. So think about this like your drive in terms of organizing stuff so you know where to get it. Why would we bookmark something?
Ease of retrieval.
Okay. Ease of retrieval, that was probably by far the biggest reason, because I want to retrieve it. Why would I want to retrieve it?
This is something that you like a lot, use a lot.
Okay, so I like it a lot, so I might not use it a lot, right? But I like it, and if I ever want to get to it, I know exactly where it is. Or I use it a lot, right? If it's something I use a lot, would I want to have it on my bookmarks bar?
Yes.
Yeah. So, what's another reason I might put something in the bookmarks bar? So let's say the first one is it's important to me, right? It's important to me because I use it because I like it. What would another reason be? Okay. All right. Well, there's a lot of things that are hard to find. So why would I bookmark something? So I would bookmark it because it's important to me.
You know that it's going to be used.
And it's important to me because I might use it again, or because there's some other sentimental value or some other value. Now, another reason to bookmark things is because it's important to someone else. Like who?
family member.
Well, let's think in terms of work.
A client.
Let's think in terms of work. Yeah. So people we work with, it could be the client. Most likely it would be the boss. And, you know, at this stage of our lives, we need to accept that more than half of things are perceptions. More than half of our success at work is going to be people's perceptions of us, not who we are or who we think we are, but it's who other people think we are. And it's always a better idea to put your best foot forward than not. And so at work, your bookmarks bar should have things that are important to your employer. Okay, what kind of things might be important to your employer?
Sales figures,
Okay, so reports. They might think it's important to have the employee manual, employee handbook, that you know where it is, or they see that your bookmark bar has the employee handbook there. They might think, oh, good, this is a guy who's going to follow the rules. Or they might think this guy's a troublemaker. He's always looking at the handbook of what we can do and can't do. But if you're in that situation, something has already gone wrong. You already have wrong. So, but if for a good employee, if you have stuff on your bookmark bar that's important to the company, that's good too. You know, you might have, for example, a folder. Do we have a folder on our bookmarks bar?
yes.
Yeah. Well, here's a folder called Head Talks. And in that folder are different things. You could have a folder on your bookmarks bar called company picnics or company parties or employees. And you can have pictures of employees there. And if you're a good employee, your employer is going to think that's good. Okay, this guy's a team player. He cares about other people in the organization. What about if you had a tab on there that said Friday night drinking?
You should probably change the name of that.
Okay. Now, that would not be good. Because now what is your boss thinking when
You're losing it up when you get the chance.
yeah, that you're not thinking about what's important to the employer. Okay, so the bookmarks part is extremely, extremely important. So I think the best, easiest way to get things on your bookmarks bar is when you go to a tab of where they are, you go to the site, it's in your Omnibar, in your Omnibox. You select, which means you left click on the lock or whatever's in there, and you just drag it to where you want it to be on the bookmarks bar. So there's a lock, I left clicked, I selected it, and I just drag it to wherever I want. And once I have it there, what else can I do with it?
See?
I can edit it to make it shorter, right? Because I don't want it to take up that much space. So I want to shorten it to whatever I can. Can I reorder things on my bookmark bar?
Yes, we can drag it.
Yeah. So I select it. So just so everybody knows, when we say click, this is click.
Okay, drag and drop.
Select is when you hold your left button down. Okay, and then you then drag it. So if I would hold down my left button, which for our purposes here we call select, and then I drag it wherever I want, and then I let go. And that's where it is. And if I want to edit it, I right click. Now let's say there's one here, coffee. I don't know what that means. I'm going to open it up because I can't remember. Why what?
I can't remember. Yeah.
Maybe I didn't put it on here. This is not mine. Okay. Bill Hader. Oh,
Saturday Night Live?
yeah. Oh, yeah, I did put it on.
Oh, okay. You remember?
I do remember now. That hint. Okay, so I'm going to leave that on, but we're not going to watch it. So the other thing you can do is you can, when you edit them, if it has an icon, you can edit all of the words other than the icon. So for example, this red T, what does that mean?
That's all.
Yeah,
So it's like pinning it.
it looks like pinning it, but it's actually just the same thing as any other thing on my bookmarks bar. So if I launch it, the other thing you remember is when you click on something that's on the bookmarks bar, it's going to write over the active tab. So what you want to do is get in the habit of open a tab and then click on whatever it is you want. So I just click on tab. Now, if I wanted to pin tab on TED, I would right-click, pin, and now I have the T for TED up here on my tab, and I also have it down here on my bookmarks bar. One is main tab when it's on the tab. That means it's active. If I want to get to TED, and I'm not on TED, but it's on my tab, I just click on it, right? Right?
Right.
Yeah. Right. But I want to close that tab. So one of the most powerful tools that you have is the bookmark bar. Most people, I would put it this way, nobody out there really takes advantage of their bookmarks bar. So what do you have on your bookmarks bar? Like reading from left to right.
You have the calendar.
Okay. What else?
Google Plus.
Okay. Khan Academy. Okay. Now, who else has Calendar or Google Plus on their bookmarks bar?
Calendar.
On your bookmarks bar? Okay. Now, when you click on Calendar, Michael, what does it show you? When you click on it on your bookmarks bar, what does it look? Just your normal calendar?
You turn red, I mean blue.
But is it your regular calendar or is it a different calendar? Like what calendar is this? Is that your picture right there?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to have things on our bookmark bar that we can get to from either the 9-square grid or Google Shortcuts. So we're going to take those off our bookmarks bar. So how do we do that?
You can right click and delete.
You can right-click and delete. What else?
You can drag it up at the
No, I can't. Okay, so I thought that worked. You can't drag it off, so you have to right-click, delete. So delete things that are on your bookmarks bar. Any Google apps, delete them from your bookmarks bar. Yeah. Anything that's on the 9-square grid doesn't need to be on your bookmarks bar. You're just wasting space. The things that should be on your bookmarks bar are things that are important, but that the easiest way to get to them is through the bookmarks bar. We don't need to get to the calendar through the bookmarks bar because we can click on the 9-square grid, right? And we don't have to open another tab before we do it. Or if we're not in a Google app, we go up to the extension that is Google Shortcuts, and we can get there. So we don't want to take up space on our bookmarks bar for that. Now, if you're looking at mine, you might say, wait a second. You have Google Plus on your bookmarks bar. Hey, Director, you have Google Plus on your bookmarks bar. Okay. See right there? It's got the Google Plus logo. Except next to it says HOA. What's that mean? Can you try to have an idea?
Homeowner association.
Well, I'll click on it.
For HOA?
Okay. Now, why do I have that? Because I can just go here,
So
I can go here,
for that,
and go to Hangouts,
so that,
click on Hangouts on there, and I'm there.
But you did 3 clicks.
I did 3 clicks instead of 1, but that's not the real reason I do it. The real reason I do it is because the new Google Plus doesn't have Hangouts on there. Yeah. I don't know. But the new Google Plus doesn't have Hangouts on there. It doesn't have events. It's easy to get to. So what I did is I said, okay, well, I'm going to save it to my bookmarks bar because when I'm doing an interview, like for Chow Tutti, or today when I go over to that other place, I need to create a Hangout on there, and I can't, I got to do it fast.
right. Easy access.
So that's what's on there. So now here's another one. Michael mentioned Cloud Academy, so I have that on there. I think this is the Chrome Web Store. Yeah, so I have that on my bookmarks bar. Probably shouldn't, because I can get to it through my apps button. So if I wanted to go there,
Pick apps to go to web store, same thing.
I click on my apps, and then what?
And then you get it from there.
Then I go to the lower right corner where it says Web Store, and that would get me to the Web Store. Okay, Brain Rush. Does everybody have Brain Rush on the bookmarks bar?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody should have that. And you have it edited down so it's just a picture of a brain?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, good.
You do up here to
Huh?
put it down.
Picture of a brain? Yeah, edit it so you just have the brain.
But it's a little
Now, does everybody have their weekly memorization
brain rush.
on there? Okay. So you should get the weekly memorization on your bookmarks bar.
Do it, but we're on a different agenda. Brain rush.
So if we just edit it to the picture of the brain, how do we just, when we're making a bookmark bar,
Should be on your bookmarks bar.
how do we, like for TED Talk, TED Ideas, or one of the TED Talk things,
A particular TED Talk?
like a picture, how do we just
Go to edit.
edit, but that's just like words? How could we just make it show a picture only?
Oh, an icon?
Yes.
There is a, I don't know off the top of my head, there's a way to do it,
Yeah.
but if it doesn't have a logo, if it doesn't have its own icon, I should say, then don't worry about it at this stage. That's more of an advanced thing. It would be good, but if, I don't know how to do it. So,
We did it before.
we added a picture.
It showed us.
Okay, well, all right. So it's not something I use. But a thing that is important to do is to have a folder on your bookmarks bar. So how do we do that?
You right click on the bookmarks bar, you'll go to add folder.
Okay. So, as Matt said, you go to a blank space on the bookmarks bar, right click, and then you have a thing that says add folder. And then that pops up. So if you have particular TED Talks that you really like, what should you do, Marty?
So,
Yeah. If you have, for work, particular, like let's say customers that have websites or Facebook pages, I would have a tab that says customers. And then I would have inside of the tab either the websites Facebook settings for each customer where I would have other folders in there. So if I had a folder called customers, inside of that folder, I would create another folder for each customer. Does that make sense? Okay. So what would be inside of the folder for the customer?
Well, the contact information.
Okay, so I have a bookmark for customers. And inside of that bookmark, and that's a folder. Inside of there, I can have right now I just have two folders in there, ABC company and XYZ company. What can I put in these folders?
Well, you can put all the information that you need to know about that company. The contact.
In what form?
Well, you could do a spreadsheet.
Okay, so I would have a spreadsheet, right? How do I get a spreadsheet in there?
Well, you can create a form and save your spreadsheet that comes from that form into that folder.
Okay, so how do I move the spreadsheet into the folder?
Drag it.
Right, the same way as anything else. If this was I'll pull up a spreadsheet here. Last quiz. And if I wanted to move it into a folder for the customer, let's say it's customer orders. Well, I left click, not left click, I hold it down and I just drag it into the folder.
Couldn't you also just hit right click and then move to from the drive?
No, well, that doesn't put it on my bookmarks bar. These are folders on my bookmarks bar folder. These are not folders in the drive.
So you can't do that. Okay.
Yeah, so that's a very important thing. So when we're talking about these folders here, like I have a folder here called TED Talk, right? TED Talk, that folder is on my bookmarks bar. That folder is not in my drive. I can copy the link to files that are in my drive into the folder. So, for example, this document right here, this spreadsheet, if I drag this into this folder, what am I dragging in there? Am I dragging the file in? No, I'm dragging in this link. I'm just dragging the link in. I'm not making another copy of that file.
So the file stays where it is.
The file stays where it is, and when I update the file, and I click on the link, what am I going to see? The old file or the updated file? Yeah, I'll see the updated file. As long as I didn't change the name, as long as the file name's the same, every time I access that file and update it, when it's on my bookmarks bar, I click on it, I'm just clicking on the link to that file.
Okay.
So the folder, your folder can contain anything that has a URL. So could it contain a spreadsheet? Yeah. How about a document? How about a video? Yeah. Anything. How about a picture?
Yes.
Yeah. Anything that has a URL can be in a folder.
So anything with a URL, it's also on your drive.
It doesn't have to be on your drive.
But if it is, and you
Could be on
send
the
it, you email that link to someone, then even without sharing it with them, you've already shared it, because if you change anything in the drive relating to that, it will also change to the person who sent it.
Yeah. So as a point, now here we're connecting Chrome, applying it to Gmail. And so we're crossing over to another app. So Matt's question was basically, wait a second, okay, so if I send somebody an email and I put a link to this file in the email, when they click on that link, what's going to happen on their computer? It's going to open that file. Now, the second part of what Matt's saying is, if I update the file, the next time when they click on the link, what are they going to see? They're going to see the updated file. So again, this is just the power of collaboration. Because when you're attaching a file, if you're attaching a file, what happens when it's updated?
It does things.
When they open it again, after you've updated, it's not updated because you attach a file, not a link to a file. So one of the beautiful things about Google Apps and this collaboration is when you attach a link, every time the original file is updated, that link goes to the updated file. In the old days, when you sent somebody an email, you didn't send them a link. What did you send them? You attached the file. Whatever it was, you attached that. So they had that thing. Let's say that this was the file. Now, they have this. If I update this on my computer, does it update it on theirs? No. So, just to continue this one step further, so I go into my Gmail, and Google has a new feature that everybody should know. It's not that new, but it's new. Most people don't know about it. So if I go into Phil LaGreca, if I open this file, and I reply to it, okay, I reply by hitting that. Now, if I want to send her an attachment, I click on what? The paperclip, right? Okay, but what Google has is, right next to it is this thing, insert files using Drive. So if I click on that, now it's taking me to my Drive, and I could insert a file like that. So now that's just going right to the Drive. Or I can insert a link to something. So you don't just have to insert files. You can insert links, and that brings us back to the bookmarks bar. And all of the things on the bookmarks bar or in the folders are not files, they're links to files. Does a link take up a lot of space? Honest? No. No, because it's just that string of characters. So you could have a link to Wikipedia. In fact, let's do that. Let's go to Wikipedia. So everybody, let's go to Wikipedia. How do we get to Wikipedia?
Open a tab.
Open a tab. Good. And then what? I go to Wikipedia.
I go Wikipedia.
Wikipedia. W-I-K-I. And then it should populate for you.
Wikipedia right there, yeah.
Okay? Now, the first one should be Wikipedia. So just click on it, open it, you should have this screen. Okay? Now, how do we move that to our bookmarks bar?
Drag that link, that lock.
Go to the lock and drag it over to the left side of your bookmarks bar, because that's where your reference stuff should be. Okay? You just drag it down there. Now we want to shorten it. So what do we do?
Go to edit,
Go to edit.
click to the right,
Yeah.
edit.
And then delete it. Delete all the words in there. And what do I end up with?
Just the W.
Just the W. Right. We just end up with the W. Okay. So now we're going to end this part of our show. And go back to California and say, Dennis, how can we help you?
Oh, we're so useful.
Peaceful? Okay.
The extensions are very useful. What's that? Okay. Can you hear us, Ed? Uh-oh. He can't hear. Somehow we got muted here.
Oops.
Oh, there we
Yeah.
are.
Okay. Sorry, I accidentally pushed the mute button.
Okay, good.
Am I coming in more clear?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Now,
So,
very
okay, so Chrome, let's just review for the last minute. So Chrome is a browser, it's Google's browser. All of the Google apps are designed to be used in Chrome. They will work in Internet Explorer. But what everybody should do is they should stop using Internet Explorer at home and just focus on one.
Which one?
Which one do you think?
You say all Google apps are what?
Huh?
All Google apps is what?
Are designed to work in Chrome. It doesn't make sense to try to be an expert at two different browsers. And in fact, most things, it's not really ideal to try to be an expert at two different things. It's better to be one, put all your energy into being a pro basketball player than a pro football player, and, or both, football and basketball, or football and baseball. So, number one thing, Google Chrome is really the place to be. Google announced today that they're spinning off their car out of Google into a separate company. The self-driving car is going to be a separate company now.
I seen one of them little white cars, them little one of them little bitty white out at the bus depot.
Yeah.
And it was ride. It's a little bitty white car with one wheel on it and something.
Okay, that's not a Google car.
What kind of car is that?
That's a Rolls.
That's the role.
A Rolls Canardly.
One and it's white. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about?
They have Google cars?
Yeah. Okay, Dennis in California, thank you for being there. We'll see you on Monday. Yes.
Monday, don't you?
Oh, you guys are off next week?
And the week.
Oh,
I got 2 weeks.
We'll be back the 4th.
okay.
Oh,
Have a nice 2 weeks.
Monday.
Okay, we will be here. So tune in on Fridays to watch the memorization.
Good.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.